Hello, everyone. We are back on the Uncle Show, and as we do every week, we have the great interviews, man. We've got top-notch music industries. We've got the independents. This guy right here, Uncle Ryano. First of all, you're back home. Good to see you back in the abode in Shreveport.
Yeah, I forgot about this place, man. It's nice. I like it. It's
looks a lot better than the Hampton Inn in OKC, right?
Man, I was in that one. I was in the Marriott. I mean, it was like a commercial for hotels, but I wasn't picky, right? Yeah.
Well, we've got a gentleman today that has been he's been in the music business for a while. He was telling me backstage, Mr. Randy C. Moore. How's it going, man?
Going good. Good to be with you guys.
Absolutely, man. Tell us a little bit about Randy C. Moore and your 50 years, man. You're about 40 years old, man. So, I mean, you were 10 years in your mom's womb when you got into the business, bro.
Yeah, that's right. The doctor slapped my ass and handed me a guitar and said, "Here, go." I said, "All right." No, it's I've been around for a while, and I can relate to the hotel rooms. Definitely, good ones and bad ones, and ones that you had to call the front desk and say, "I hate to tell you this, but there are mice who are eating my cookies right now. Can I have another room?" So, and that would be in like St. Joe, Missouri, or something. But I got started out primarily. I didn't want to be a musician. I'm a guy who paints pictures and stuff like that. That was my thing. But then I found out that girls like guys who play guitars and sing songs that gets them all happy and so forth and such. So I thought, okay, well, this would be a good way to get girls. So. Contrary to maybe some other artists who have a need to express themselves and, have some deep thing going on, that wasn't me. Nothing. I was always in the shallow end of the pool when I started out, but I just kept going in that direction. I started writing some songs early on, and they were folk and country stuff because I was influenced by that stuff. And my dad in particular, was a friend of a disc jockey in Houston, Texas. We lived in Humble. That's where I was raised. And the guy's name was Arch Yancey, a really good disc jockey in Houston, Texas. My dad went to high school with him. So he calls him up and says, "Hey, man," he says, "my boy here he's writing some songs, and we're thinking maybe he might want to go in and record. Could you help him?" Yeah. So Arch rigged up some recording sessions there in the Houston area, and then he liked what I was doing, so he was nice enough and kind enough to have me be on his show that he would do from Gilly's nightclub every Thursday night. So
That's
I got
cool.
to sing Gilly's nightclub for a couple of years.
Oh, man.
It was fun, and it's neat because I had to go over there with my parents, but that was great. And
Was it during the Urban Cowboy time?
It was before that. It was just around 1975. So this was when Gilly's was just Gilly's. It was just a big old place with a lot of people who were drinking beer, doing the two-step, and they had a great house band. And Johnny Lee was an emerging guy, but he wasn't really anything by then. And Mickey Gilley was fairly popular. He had his own local TV show. So there was a thing going on in Houston before Urban Cowboy happened, especially around the Gillies thing. So I got a lot of experience doing that. I moved on to Nashville after high school, and I worked at a place called Opryland Theme Park in the country show there, and I got introduced to a lot of people there because the Opryland Theme Park at that time was real close related to the Grand Ole Opry, so there were Opry stars who were coming through the park all the time. And then I got to be on the Opry a couple times due to being there at the park and them going, "We should put this kid on stage." So I networked, and I did all kinds of things. It's funny because anybody who's ever asked me about what I planned on doing, well, that stuff never worked out, and anything that ever worked out was something I never planned. So, staying in Nashville was a good thing for me in the fact that I got better at being creative, writing songs, knowing how to deal with other people, knowing how to deal with other musicians, knowing how to deal with people who knew a lot more about business than I did, and also not to mention, and not for it to be off the beaten path, but learning how to produce records. So, and I worked with a lot of different producers, a lot of really great producers who had great ears. So I was fortunate to be able to pick up enough of that stuff to kind of develop my own thing too. And I've been around the world a couple of times: China, Monte Carlo, Copenhagen, the Middle East. All kinds of stuff. Traveled with bands. Had my own band. Didn't have a band. Then I had a band. Then I quit. Then I went back. And then I quit again. And I went back. So all the while, this old guitar has been with me. This is my very first guitar that I got at H&H Music Company back when I was a kid and took guitar lessons on. So it's been quite a journey. Along the way, I've been able to do shows with guys like Hank Williams Jr. and Vince Gill and David Allan Coe and Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi. And this is just a name dropping section of where I'm going here with this, but people get the idea that, I was fortunate enough to be able to get those gigs and stand on the stage and be able to deliver something in that atmosphere. But my favorite thing has always been to kind of sing for just a few folks or be in a small kind of intimate place, because when I was growing up and I was learning to play the guitar, mom and dad, they decided, hey, this would be a good thing for our friends. So dad put a PA system in their living room, and they'd invite their friends over, and mom would fix cocktails and stuff. So I'd sing songs for them. So that's the most comfort level that I have of doing stuff. So anytime I do a show and I feel a little uncomfortable, all I do is try to imagine being in my mom and dad's living room. So it's been quite a journey. I've been able to write songs with guys like Carl Perkins, a guy named Jesse Hunter, different folks. Some guys I wrote with the guys in Restless Heart. I wrote with the guys in the band Ricochet. Bounced around Nashville a lot through the 90s. And then Nashville started changing a lot, and I changed a little bit with it, but at a certain point, you got to quit listening to the voices. And this is kind of imparting a little bit of how I feel about things. I don't know if it's right or not. But at a certain point, you settle on, you know what? I need to go in the direction that feels the best for me. I think I know enough about what's going on around me to not have to kind of like hold my finger up and see which way the wind's blowing. And once I quit doing that, then a lot of really good songs started coming out of me, and most of them were like personal songs or songs that were something that I knew a whole lot about. And at that point, I felt like I was really winning the personal satisfaction game of making records and making songs. It was always great to go play other people's songs, and it's great to do that in front of a crowd and them enjoy what you're doing. But there's really nothing, and listen, Uncle Ryano, you can attest to this. There's nothing better than playing one of your own songs in front of a bunch of strangers, and at least one of them coming up and going, "Man, where did that song come from?" That is true.
To that point, I try to tell all these pups that they're coming up and they think I just am so remarkable, blah, blah, blah. I'm only going to do my own songs. Well, we don't know where we're going if we don't know where we've been as music. True. And the masters, sometimes they were just like us. They were just knuckleheads throwing stuff at a wall and something they were digging. And that was literally all the thought that went into it. But it turned out to be sung around the world. And for a cover, I'm not a big fan of covers. I'm a big fan of remakes, where you go in and you take a cover and you maintain 100% of the respect for the kings who came before us, but you give it a shot in the arm. To your point that you just said, you were born perfect for a perfect purpose. Everyone listening to this was. And so you have a unique map and you have a unique process that no one else can do like you. I don't care who they are. And me, I can't do what you do. It don't matter who it is. I know a bunch of those people that you went through and mentioned. Never did get to meet Carl Perkins though. So I'm going to have to live through you vicariously on that one. But I will tell you, so many that just are so wrapped up in their own selves. And as a writer, we have to tell their story through our experiences and our ability to turn the words.
Yeah.
And now it becomes our story. And it's the same way when you do a remake, like you said, when you do the covers. For me, I love doing those when they never saw the song in that form, but they already are familiar enough with it that they're singing with me. So I would rather have a stadium full of people singing with me than I would have me singing at a stadium full of people.
Yeah. Yep. And to your point of a cover, I'm glad you brought that up, because last year I spent most of the year getting behind a song that I didn't write and everybody knows. It's called "Cats in the Cradle." And
Know it.
yeah, the only reason I did it is because the darn thing fell in my lap. A guy who's a friend of mine, who's also a filmmaker, made a film that they decided to let me appear in, and it was called Harry Chapin, "Cats in the Cradle," the song that changed our lives. So I told them, I said, well, I said, I actually play this song. They said, well, how do you do it? I said, I kind of got my own thing. They said, well, play it when we do your section. So I did. And so, unbeknownst to me, they took what I did and they played it for the Harry Chapin family. And they came back to Rick, the guy who was the film producer, and he said, he needs to put this out. This is really good. It's different, but it's not so different that Dad wouldn't have liked this. So, and when anybody would ever ask me about that song, they go, well, how do you feel about doing a cover? I said, look, what I intended to do and what I needed to do, first of all, was do something on my own without taking away from the owner of the actual song. So it was just an embellishment and something that was different enough that was me, but it wasn't so far away from Harry Chapin that people would go, well, he just kind of ruined that, So
Yeah.
I was really fortunate to be able to actually sort of thread that needle, because this, as you well know, it ain't easy to do that. I mean, Linda Ronstadt was brilliant and James Taylor is brilliant at remaking old records, and you just go, wow, how did they do what? How did the producer or how did the artist hear that like that? Because it's amazing. But
Can I give you can I give you a secret? This is, don't tell nobody.
Yep.
Don't tell Rob. Don't tell we don't want nobody to know this. So a couple million people don't pay attention right now. But so I was sitting there when you and I were talking, and I'm sitting there going through my head. To your point, I was familiar with your name already. I'd retired for a little while, and so I slept. But you've been around during the time I was in Nashville. You were in Nashville.
Yeah.
And I was with Capitol and jumping around the different labels. And the thing is, none of that means anything. I'm a songwriter and a composer first. And so the thing, when I just quick refresher, because I knew your name already, I had to connect all the dots because we come into contact with a lot of people. So I just jumped in there for my own refreshment. And you know what made me dive? I already was familiar with several of your songs. I love the "Sold a Lot of Beer." I mean, I just say it. I'm just gonna tell everybody, y'all go check it out, okay? But the thing is I clicked with you the minute that I looked at your discography. Right? I looked at it, and one of the first things that hit me in the mouth when I looked at it was "Cats in the Cradle." Okay. Yeah. And the reason being is because before I even refreshed by listening, I instantly knew I was dealing with a writer and a composer who had the wisdom and the insight to connect with a masterpiece. Okay. So you can't beat how it was done, but you've got to be really secure and you got to be really talented to take it in a new direction and put it right next to how it was done. And now that's how it is. And in my opinion, you knocked the doors off of that. And it was also a huge honoring and a testament that's given them their flowers to the family of Harry Chapin. So that's what we're all about here. And that's just huge props to you, partner.
I appreciate you. Thank you for
yes,
that.
Sir. Yes, sir.
That actually, when coming from someone of your nature and of your ilk, and you say things like that to me, you don't know how much encouragement that adds to me. I mean, I can walk around and be as confident as I can, but on the inside, I'm just as insecure as any other human being. So,
I got you, bro.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there'll be times I'll go, hey, don't do that. And then there'll be other times I'll go, hey, we got to run. We got to run right now.
Yep.
You know, but we're going to do it together. And
Wow.
with a lot of the pups, especially now, it's a vanilla white bread world now. And I don't have the lips for ass kissing. I have no lips. I'm pedigree Irish. and I'm not in the smoke blowing business. So when I tell it, that's honest to God, that's how I feel it. So you'll always get straight. I mean, like a dart, it'll always be straight. I may measure it out a little bit sometime to make sure I got it right and I'm articulating it right. But I'm for me personally, and we got some icons that have been booked. We've got icons that are coming. And I believe in my heart, Mr. Rob Charles and Randy, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I believe with all my heart that you fit right in there with all these people. A diamond isn't a diamond because it's in the jewelry store. It still can be a diamond in the dirt. And just because you got 5 million people that see it versus 500,000 people that see it doesn't change whether or not it's a diamond, baby. And
Have you written that?
I haven't, but if you want to, we can get on it. I ain't scared.
I like it.
Okay, Rob, give me my number. We'll have it done by dinner.
I'll get it. I don't think I have Randy's number. I think I've got Jenny's number. I can maybe he can give us his number when we get done.
I guess Jenny gonna be in on it. It's gonna be a 3-way co-ride, I guess. Damn it, Jenny.
She can do the math.
All right, there you go.
I want my part. I'm giving you numbers and everything.
Yeah.
She could be Rob. You can be co-publisher.
Yeah, I think this will break the Library of Congress by the time we get it registered. Yeah.
We're gonna have it's gonna be like that Johnny Cash song with all the long title of the 55, 65, 75, whatever automobile.
Yeah, one piece at a time.
You know, you were talking about that remaking it and covering it. Reminds me of the talk we had with Walter Egan a while back when he was talking about what Keith Urban did to his song Magnet of Steel. I was like tuning in that. I was like, it's the same situation, man. You made it your own, but you stayed true to the original. Yeah.
If it's a great record, there's no reason to try to reinvent the wheel. Just do your thing and let it be as natural and as as real as it can be, because the thing the hurdle that you don't have to clear on that is nobody's ever heard it before.
They'll be singing with you,
familiar with it
for you. They're singing with you and rooting for you. Once they realize if you change the cadence or you bust up the groove, like UB40 took the Neil Diamond version and they did the reggae version, swept the world, right? Well, and this is cool right here because this is writer to writer talking. Nothing more fancy, flashy, and there ain't no tier or level to it, man. It's just two writers talking. And the one thing that is the great equalizer is a pen and paper. And so I know I've got funny quotes from some of my icons that I idolized. And I walked in on that day thinking, oh, yeah, I'm such and such and I'm doing such and such. And they real quick would put me right back in my place, kind of mash me real quick. And I'm sitting there thinking about the stuff that with those remakes and the stuff like what you did on this one. I love, I'm a huge fan. That's the most fun thing. And I don't have a financial vested interest in that song, but that might be one of the songs that helped build me. So why would I not want to go back and show love? Right.
Absolutely.
That's how I took it when I saw, and that song meant a lot to me because that song actually 100% hits home to me. So your song was telling a big chunk of my story growing up, right?
Cool.
And it was your song that started with Harry. You picked it up, and then you just kept it going. So that's y'all's song now. Both of y'all put your heart in it.
That's great. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
I see where that's going. That's fantastic.
Yep.
you're gonna make Randy here feel like he could take on the whole world, bro. You're giving him all this confidence, and that's awesome.
Give me about 8 minutes, and he'll be running. I'm just saying, we got this.
Your timer's on. 8 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't need the world. All I need is that woman in the other room. That's about it.
that is.
That's all we ever need is that one special woman to make our life become the definition of why we even are here.
Yeah, she's the rock that rolls me, brother. I'll tell you that.
Yes, sir. I got one from Tyler, and she's got real bad judgment, terrible eyesight, can't shoot at all, worth a damn. And so I knew we would have a really long relationship.
That's right.